everybody. I'm Karen Bryant. Check out the Karen Bryant podcast at podcast1.com. It's finally here. It is a behind-the-scenes look at the world's fastest-growing sport, and that is MMA. I'm going to have interviews, analysis, lots of humor with some of the biggest names and the rising stars in the sport. Listen, if you're already a super fan, or even if you're just looking to learn more about the sport, download new episodes of the Karen Bryant podcast every Friday at podcast1.com. That's podcastone.com.
The following program is a podcast1.com production.
Podcast1.com presents the Ask Women podcast. A place where two comics and a professional wing girl get together to dissect the female mind.
You don't know how I feel.
And explain it to men in terms they can actually understand. Boobs. Now, here's the lovely ladies of Ask Women.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ask Women podcast, where you get real advice straight from the source, women, and a man occasionally. So we're lucky to have Kevin Undergaro here with us today.
He's back with us today.
Relationship expert.
Well, you did sound like it the last time that you were on the show. You were saying a lot of wonderful things.
You know, I'm not a relationship expert, but I play one on TV.
I think anybody who has been in a 14-year relationship, 16-year relationship, is a relationship expert. If they're, especially when they're dating somebody in Hollywood.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'll accept that.
You're like, I'll take it. It's a new credential for you. So it's good. Well, before we get started on the show, I wanted to try something out again for this week, and it is my Wing Girl Minute. All right, so here's the Wing Girl Minute for this week. Women do not like bad boys and players. Not sure who started this rumor, but do you seriously think women sit around and say, oh, Marni, I can't wait to meet a guy who is a jerk and he's unreliable, has no direction, and plays games with my head? Women want a man, not a boy. Man translates to a male that is self-assured, calm, cool, collected, comfortable, and has the ability to read, not be a douchebag. A genuine, authentic character will trump looks and bad boy qualities almost every time. What we're looking for is a nice guy with that edge, so be that man. For more tips and tools on how to attract women, go to winggirldatingtips.com. And that is my Wing Girl Minute.
Yay, that was good.
That was
44.
good. What?
44 seconds.
44. I'm trying to race against the clock.
Yeah. Well, you read quickly, but it's a lot of information.
Yeah, it's always
Good
like
info.
less time than you think. Space
I
it out
know.
next time.
I thought I was talking for 10 minutes there.
But the takeaway is there.
Exactly. Because then they think for 15 seconds
Yeah.
and they take it away. So that it's a minute. It's a complete minute.
It all adds up.
People. There you go. All right. So now we can carry on with the rest of our show.
Well, we're trying to do like more segments here and there. You know, Tinder's like such a huge thing, so we're doing like a Tinder segment and stuff. Have you heard anything about that, like pop culturally wise?
I mean, well, Tinder, and then, you know, in gay culture,
Grindr.
and I mean, it's like everything everything's so at hand, so ready, so fast. It's just the world is going so quickly.
Do you think that that's ruining dating? Because somebody asked me that the other day.
I think social media is, you guys, having such a strong effect on dating, period. It just has to.
But it's funny because I did this interview the other day, and they were saying, you know, what are your thoughts on the impact of social media in the dating world? And I kind of had two thoughts on it, that there is a plus to it and there is a negative to it. The negative is that it seems like you have endless options, right? And that there's so many different outlets for you to use.
That could be a positive too, right?
And then that's what I said. But then on the flip side, that's the positive. There's so many different ways to meet people. You're not just depending on, okay, I have a local dance in my city that I can go to once a month and potentially meet people, or I can meet them at school, or whatever
like
it
a
is.
square dance, I imagine.
You're limited options.
I think the downside is such increased temptation. I think that Facebook, you guys probably speak to this, but I literally have had every significant girlfriend that I've ever had in my life. You know, as soon as because we do our reality show, Chasing Maria.
Yeah.
So I give you a plug for that.
Continue
Oxygen,
to plug it.
It's on Oxygen, 10 p.m. Tuesday nights. But so Chasing Maria, you know, the fact that I live with Maria and we've been together for 16 years. We're not married. We don't have kids. We live with mom and dad. Yada, yada, yada. Well, one of the reasons I think our relationships works is I've been in the background for 16 years and happy. But doing this show, now I'm out in the forefront. So Oxygen said, please, you need to do an Instagram, you need to do a Twitter, and you need to do a Facebook page. I said, okay. So I did that.
So you didn't have any of those before?
No, like roughly I would tinker it a little bit here and there, maybe with AfterBuzz TV, you know, our network. Like, so I did some stuff, but not really. When I tell you guys that every single girlfriend that, not like casually, but like serious girlfriends that I had, has reached out to me And
offered something
like
to
they've
you,
come back
or-
from the dead?
Yes, and you can tell that. Yeah, I think in one way or another, I feel like as a guy, if I wanted to pursue it, something could have come of it. And I just think with social media, I think that people that that kissed in kindergarten are still going to be in touch 30 years later now. Like the stuff that we were like, hey, I knew this person 35 years ago. I'll never see them again.
Right.
And now, because these guys are all growing up on and through social media, all those people from your past come back.
But again, that's a plus and a negative. It could be fantastic. Like, let's say,
you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah, I saw you and Maria, so you were like madly in love. But let's say you weren't. Let's say you're like, oh, great, like we're so unhappy, and I'm just looking for
You're
an
right,
out.
no.
And this other person did sort of pop back in. It could
would
be a
be nice.
positive thing.
I think it's good. Listen, so it's good you got a guy, so I can be a chauvinist right now.
Yes,
Go
please.
for it, please.
Okay, so
We're desperate for
so
chauvinists.
for girls, I like it. I think it's much harder for women, you guys. I think it's much harder for women out there, and especially as a woman gets older, it's really, really hard. You know, my
And
mom
more
is
successful.
70, right? Mm-hmm. So my mom is 70 years old, and thank God when my dad died 20 years ago, he loved her so much that he was inviting an old friend over from high school who had recently been a widower. And we didn't know why. He was like, I just want to see Frankie. I just want to see Frankie. If I can only see Frankie. If I can only see Frankie. All right, get Frankie here. So Frankie starts to come. Talks to my dad for 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep, you guys. I'm not feeling well.
No way.
Mom and Frankie would talk. Sure enough, my father dies, and a few months later, Frankie and my mother start dating. Wow. Well, sure enough, that's when my doctor confided. He's like, no, that was your dad's plan all along.
How?
That's how much he loved my mother. He didn't want her to be alone.
Wow.
But if he didn't do that for my mom, it's so hard for a woman, especially over 50 or 55. It's really, really hard because guys are douchebags. They want to be with a younger girl. They may have the money to lure a younger girl to say, hey, I can have an easy life with this idiot and he'll die. And, by this age, he's maybe better. He's nicer. His fangs are like a little duller. He's not going to cheat, whatever the case is. And so I like that there's social media. If it's going to give women more opportunities, great. The flip side is because guys, we just are.
There's more temptation.
We have an external organ, you guys, and it does mean something. And we
listen for women too. I will be honest. I remember a long time
it could go
ago.
that way too. Yeah.
This is when I was first dating my husband, and I remember either he brought it up to me or I saw it that he had friended his ex-girlfriend on Facebook. So I was like, okay, well, I've had an invite from my ex-boyfriend for a long time on Facebook. I'm just going to say yes to it. So I said yes to it, and then he started interacting with me, and of course you want to put your best self out there and flirt a little bit. But then I stopped liking it after a while. I was like, no, this is too much for me. I think that
it gets weird.
There's a lot of temptation, and sometimes it's nice when maybe you're not feeling so great about yourself to get that attention from somebody else. But at the end of the day, I think the temptation can always be there for both sexes. It's how you act on it. Like driving over here, we were talking about Howard Stern before we started the show, but I was listening to Stern, and there was this advertisement for Ashley Madison, and their tagline is, "Are you bored? Then cheat."
Yes, yeah.
And
oh my God!
Like literally, like
that. Are you stupid? Then cheat.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, I also, on another note, I know whether you believe in karma or you believe in God. Just even that company and that ad, do you know how much misery they're bringing into people's lives and how much temptation? And I just, in my life experience, I'm older than you guys, I've seen it come back.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I look at Heidi Fleiss, and we're jumping off subject. I think how many, Heidi used to brag about, she'd say, you two girls, she'd say, oh, give me 15 minutes. And I would have them hooking for me. Right. That was her big thing. She's like, I laugh at any girl who says to me, I would never. Give me 50 minutes. And she used to brag about that.
So that's how long it takes for the drugs to kick in.
So listen, well, okay, but all joking aside, go Google an image of Heidi Fleiss and what she looks like now. If you don't think that karma and everything came back to her, no, I mean it.
No, I believe you.
I believe you.
Poison comes out in your face. And in your life, and I think of all the people she turned away from morality. She turned away from, if you believe in God, fine, or just ethics. I think she damaged. Think of all those 21, 22-year-old girls. Do you really think that didn't permanently damage that girl?
Right.
And granted, that might have been that girl's decision, but the fact that you tempted them and enticed them, bad things come. So I think I hear that Ashley Madison, and when they're bragging, throwing out there, woo, have fun, like ruin your relationship. We're not saying do this, just have a little fun. And it's like, oh my God, like to each their own. People are going to fall out of love and they're going to meet other people, fine, but
do it with integrity, which I think is a good segue for today's chapter in the man's playbook.
Are you horny to win?
Oh my God. I love it now. Keep it forever and ever and play it throughout the entire show.
I don't know whether or not to believe either of you anymore.
No, I don't know. It depends what mood I'm in.
It doesn't depend on my mood. I think it's stupid and I think it's funny. So.
I think it's hilarious. But so I want to talk, and we've talked about it before. This has been a chapter, but I think it's a chapter that is worthwhile repeating. Being a man of integrity, because I think there is one thing to, go behind somebody's back if you're not really happy or if you need some sort of outlet for your, sexual escapades. I think that it's hurtful, and to be honest, I think cheating is disgusting. I don't understand it. I think if you are going to cheat, then be in an open relationship. Maybe bring your significant other into the experience with you and act out on those impulses. And if they don't want to do that with you, then you're not right for one another. I think that going behind somebody's back and being deceitful is the worst thing that you can do in life, especially if there's somebody that you are supposed to love and protect.
And it will make you ugly.
It will make you ugly. Only ugly.
So if you need a motivation, it's that, because I would not want to become ugly.
Exactly.
I would not be able to.
I'm just listen. I'm going to speak to that point, but I'm going to give you guys just a general tip as you're looking at people age in life.
Yeah,
you can just pick them
I don't care how beautiful a guy or girl a guy is, say between 16 and say 22. When someone's beautiful, they're just beautiful. That age doesn't matter. You can be the most heinous, atrocious troll, and you won't see it on the person's face because it's so masked by youth and beauty. But as time goes on, and I always watch, and you see the kind of the lines, the scowl, the talons, like the ugliness comes out in somebody. You'll see. Just look back in history, look at people's faces, and I always say, and I'm like, but if they have a beautiful soul on the inside, they stay.
I absolutely agree. And today, there on the news, there was a coach from some college who was just fired for lying about his credentials. He said he had like a college degree from whatever school, but I looked at him and I thought he looks like you can see that coming out of him.
The poison is coming out.
He's a dishonest human being. Yeah.
As far as I agree with the integrity thing. I think I think the one thing I will say though is when you do. You have to, when you're going to approach your partner to say, listen, I want to go out and play or whatever, you have to also know that there's going to be permanent damage you're going to do to that relationship. Yeah. So you really have to think carefully. So,
But
I think people are afraid to say it because even saying it brings on damage to the relationship, not just doing
and permanent damage.
It could. It depends how you ease into it. So I had a conversation with my husband the other day because to be honest, I am more sexual than my husband is. At least in my mind, I'm more sexual.
How old is he?
He's 42. So he's like been there, done that. He's done a lot of things that I have not had.
You're younger.
Yeah, I'm
like
10 years younger.
Like Maria and I. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. So you're hitting your peak. And for guys, it's,
Yeah, and so for me, I do bring up those conversations lightly, but we have such.
I would just bring it up a lot just to point out that I am 10 years younger.
Yeah, exactly.
So
No, but I do bring it up lightly with him because I obviously know that there is an ego on the opposite side, and I do preface everything with I'm loving our sex life. I'm completely satisfied and happy, but there are sides in me that I want to explore that I don't even know what they are right now, but I would be satisfied fine not to explore them, but I would love to explore them with you.
Okay, what about some... Well, that's because you're amazing. That's
Thanks.
a great girl. No, but really, because you want to do it with him. But I think that it's hard to be with someone for a very long time, and I think you need... there are other things you can do without ruining the relationship, without saying, for a guy, and this is going to sound crazy, strip club... Not a bad idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Not
it
frequently.
Gets the energy out.
Not frequently.
Absolutely.
Okay. When I was a single guy, never got the idea of a strip club. I'm like, wait, I don't understand. Like, I give $200 at the end of a night to a girl that I'm never gonna.
You could give $2. Just go to a shittier one.
But I'm never gonna give her my. Well, I'm saying over a long night. Right?
That's true. That's true.
A lot of money.
So and I'm like, and I'm not gonna leave with her number. I'm not going to go on a date with her. This is completely pointless. Okay, guys, whatever.
Right.
Like, ha ha ha. Like. Says the young guy who has it all ahead of him.
Right.
Now, you're in a relationship for 10 or 11 years, and one of my friends got married, and we went to Vegas. And I was like, all right, whatever. One in Rome, so we went to one, and it was awesome.
That is a man who has not been out of the house in a long time.
Exactly. Because
always the best thing
but you know
ever.
what? And I told Maria about it. She thinks it's the funniest thing. She's like, I can see that. I said, me and my loser guy friends were all sitting in a corner.
See, I would make fun of my husband too.
And all of these girls were sitting around us with these big grins and totally devoted and just full attention, laughing at all of our awful jokes and just making you feel like you're single and at a bar and you felt like you still had it.
You get your mojo back.
And by the way, then it's like you're $200 later. You leave, and by the time lights are on, they're obviously disappeared.
See their wrinkles.
They're gone. No,
they're like, see, their night's over.
I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Right.
And then they they turn back into pumpkins. Yeah. And the next thing you know, it's like there's cleanup, and you're out the door, and no one got hurt.
I totally agree. And the problem is that women don't have the same outlet because I have been to a male strip club, and let me tell you, that is
gross.
the scariest.
It's gross. No, you guys do have outlets, and I was getting to that.
Oh, okay.
What are our outlets?
They're not male strip clubs, though. They are
goofy. No. Those are goofy and weird. And by the way,
just
a lot of those guys are gay. Do
you know what they have in Japan? I just watched this whole special that was on Vice. So they have social strip clubs in Japan where women just go and they talk to men and men listen to them and they flirt and banter with them.
I love
and they give them attention.
Who's paying who?
The women pay the men. These men,
the men
make $800,000 a year. It's insane.
See, that's just
and they have bottle service, and no men are allowed to come in except for these men. There's nothing sexual. There's flirting and dancing, and maybe some of them are gay, and it's the best thing ever for women.
That's a great idea.
I forget what they're called
because it's not as skeevy and
there's a little sophistication to it.
Yeah, and they just listen. They listen to you talk about your ex-boyfriend, whatever it is. They give you what you need.
My solution wasn't that. That's a great solution. Well, what I've done with Maria, because I didn't know we have that much in common. So Maria and I, we have the same age difference as you and your husband. And, I knew, first of all, I love Maria so much. I never, whether it's career or personal, I never want Maria to look back on life and say, if only I could have done blank. I hate that. I hate when I hear that from anybody.
And I would do a guy named Blank in a second.
Right?
If I could have done Blank.
It's a bad joke.
No, it was a good joke.
That was a good one.
It was good. But I never wanted that for her. I don't want that for my friends. I get frustrated when people come up to me on the street and say, if only I could have. I hate that. Yeah. And so whether it's her career, that's why you see Maria do so many different things, because I never wanted her to say, well, I wish I could have acted, or I wish I could have sang, or I wish I could have. No, you're never going to say that, because I've heard that from older stars. But also in relationships, I knew Maria and I started dating at 19.
Wow.
I never wanted Maria going back. And why wouldn't she go at 40 or 35, which she is now, say, God, I missed out on my 20s and having fun. I want to go do it. So in our relationship, I always encouraged her to have guy friends.
And you were saying that last time. I love that. I always encourage
her to go out and have fun. And she does. And I trust her. And I also have given up to the fact that if something happens, then what can I do? She'll come tell me and we'll work it out, or we'll separate.
My husband has a very similar attitude.
And she trusts you because she's like, look at me. He believe me. He's not going to fuck this up.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, no. She's jealous Greek.
I'm kidding.
And, she's got me locked up, and you know what I mean. Right. I don't go out.
Her parents on him all day. Yeah. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. No, she's not. Yeah. No, she's not. It wouldn't be the same. No, she's very she can be much more territorial. And that's a girl thing, and I get that. But I think I think having great guy friends, and it's okay to flirt with them. It's okay, and if you're the guy at home, it's okay too. The problem is, when you do get the wife that meets the person on Facebook and then ups and leaves, and that's I don't always see that work out, guys. I have more examples of that not working out.
I agree with you. And actually, Art's giving us a signal that we do have to wrap this up. So I do want to wrap up this chapter. So I'm sorry for cutting you off. But the point that you just made, to wrap up the integrity portion, I think that to live a life of integrity, as long as you're not hurting anybody, there's no manipulation, there's no dishonesty, and as long as you're being true to who you are and you're treating people the way that you would want to be treated, that's the type of man that we're talking about. So cheating, or even if you are dating and you're leading women on, you're leading them down a path of intimacy, but you have no interest in actually being intimate with them or being in a relationship with them, that falls into the category of dishonest and being untruthful and disrespectful towards somebody. So this chapter closes with us saying, if you want to be a good man and a man that gets women, being a man of integrity is what will get you those women. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then and then who do we have coming up on the show for our second half?
Well,
Chris Gore.
We have Chris Gore, who I know Kevin will have a lot to talk about to him with.
Yeah.
He's a huge independent film guy. Like, he's the guru.
He's the author of the best-selling book, and you probably can tell me in the booth. It was his first book was Put Him on the Map. Was the film festival book?
Yes,
the guy. There he is. Chris is looking at me like that.
He's like, what? What would I do?
And what's the book that
Celebrities Poop. Is that the new one? He's got one.
Well, he'll tell us about it when he comes onto the show. But yeah, coming up next, what was his last name again?
Chris Gore.
Chris Gore.
He also a podcast on Nerdist too called Pod Crash.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And he also does the news for Geek Time on Howard Stern's channel.
I like it. Okay, so we have Chris Gore coming up next. He was going to join us for Analyze This and talk to us about stuff.
He lives below me in the apartment below me, and he talks about weird sex fetishes all the time outside.
You mentioned that.
Oh, nice. He'll talk about sex fetish. All right, we'll be back in a bit. Hey guys, it's Marni. Buying a car is a not so fun experience for most people, and it doesn't have to be. At TrueCar.com, they'll help you get rid of the fear that you may overpay. You know when you'll get a fair price because they show you what others paid for the car you're looking for. TrueCar.com analyzes what people are paying for their cars in their market and shares it with consumers so that they never have to overpay. Over 40,000 cars were sold by TrueCar certified dealers just last month. Users see an average savings of $3,046 off MSRP. TrueCar certified dealers go through a certification process, and you work directly with a TrueCar representative that will honor your savings. TrueCar certified dealers believe that truth and transparency are essentials to a better buying experience. First, go to TrueCar.com and find out what others paid for the same vehicle in your market and around the country. Second, register at TrueCar.com to see upfront pricing information and lock in your savings certificate. And the third step is simple. Just print out your certificate and take it to the TrueCar certified dealer for a better hassle-free buying experience. TrueCar has the most comprehensive new car pricing information available and a certified network of dealers that offers a hassle-free car buying experience and negotiation-free guaranteed savings. Support the Ask Women podcast and shop at TrueCar.com.
You're listening to the Ask Women podcast, a Podcast One presentation.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. We're here with Chris Gore, the ultimate independent film guy. Like, you are the guy. You Podcrash, amazing things, right?
Yes, that was I mean,
but you've evolved now to like just right nerdy, techie, everything.
I do comedy, voice work, and I have a podcast called Podcrash.
Right,
yeah.
right.
You have a lot of stuff.
Don't forget Geek Time too.
And Geek Time, that's right. I do Geek Time.
I love that you do so much that you even forgot what.
Yeah, it's like, but it's weird because everyone in entertainment is like, well, here are the 9 hats that I wear,
right,
and the 15 jobs I have to have.
And barely any of them fit.
Right. And you have to do 15 different things, and then when one of those things is actually making money, that's the one you put your most attention to. I do have like my stand-up comedy, and then I'm working on 2 animated shows right now.
Really?
You have to do a lot of things.
That's
Kevin,
awesome. And you have Celebrity Poop.
Celebrities Poop is my debut comedy album. Came out last summer, and it's a book and a comedy album that if you are familiar with the book Everyone Poops, you can buy the book, or you can just actually download the album on iTunes or Amazon. But yeah,
so it's like a follow-along story.
I do. In fact, I'm doing. Oddly enough, I'm actually doing an Audible.com version free where you can hear me read the book to like 300 people at the event I did in Phoenix, Arizona. Which is pretty fun. I just read the book to them.
That is so
the
funny.
lines of how they poop.
Yes, there's not much in the book. It's like, Oprah makes a big poop.
Yes, it was the first thing I saw, and I loved it.
Justin Bieber makes a small
And that's
poop.
exactly how I would picture them to poop.
Right. Yes. It's.
What is?
By the way, backing up, 300 people in where?
Phoenix, Arizona.
I mean,
that's a lot.
That's a lot of people. It's a good crowd to pull in to listen to a poop
Maria
story.
Menounos kind of well known, and we never saw 300 people at a book signing. That is
there you go.
Very impressive, my friend.
You should you should have her guest on my podcast when we do a live show.
Okay,
we attract a huge group. Like when I do like WonderCon or Comic-Con in San Diego or DragonCon in Atlanta. That's kind of my circuit, is the nerdy circuit.
Right.
That's a great circuit.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I'm very influenced, but I smell poop now.
Do you really?
From looking
By
at
the way,
I don't know. I had coffee before, so
I feel
maybe
paranoid
that's
now.
breath or
And
something.
who wants to know more about women than nerds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, really.
Absolutely.
We did a show, Dweebcast, which is all for nerds, and they
Really?
came in and asked us questions just for nerds specifically on how to date women and stuff like that. So tell us about your dating life. This is a side that not many people get to see of you.
What do you mean not many people get to see?
Well, I mean, unless
there's
you're
a
having
whole
sex with
So you're
rant.
saying he's not dating? Is that
Well, no, there's like a 10-minute segment of my comedy album called "Dating is Just a Job Interview for Fucking," and that's
right.
all.
Right.
Because I really believe that that's kind of what it is. Because you're sitting across from
Yes, it
someone
is.
that you meet, and it's a job interview for. Do I want to be naked with this person and do things that are extremely
That's why
intimate?
I don't understand why people enjoy dating.
I don't like it.
Right.
I mean, like in fact, I was on OkCupid for like a year. My username was Bruce Vane, but I've since disabled my account. It was really. I felt like a lot of people misrepresented themselves, whether it be in photographs or.
Oh, yeah.
I've met with many troubled women.
If I was doing online dating, I would set the bar really low so that if I went in, they'd be really impressed.
They're like, wow, I was not
Because
expecting
these women set the bar so high, it's like
But
you're
you'd
setting these
also
guys
have
up.
to vet. You know many, as a girl, you know many like bozos and idiots.
But that's
You
the
would get
thing.
stalked.
Monsters.
But if I put it down, like the bar, like where I just look, it was like horrible pictures and stuff. Then when I wouldn't get as many messages, so I'd actually get like
actually,
maybe
I
some
want
good
to ask
guys.
you about these women that you're meeting that are full of baggage that you meet with.
Mm-hmm.
Have you learned now how you were selecting these women that
Have I
had
learned
baggage? Like how to not select the woman with baggage?
First of all, I love to be the one that's responsible for the mistake because that means I have the false impression that I have control over it.
Right.
That means it's like this false, like, obviously everything is my fault in any relationship situation because then I can do something about it. I think that's maybe a very male thing to think. But with these women, I think a lot of them were misrepresenting who they were. And I just wanted to meet a woman that didn't come to me like, I'm freelance. I've got $20,000 in debt. I'm this. I'm this. Like, just came with all this like. Just really unattractive stuff.
That's not for you.
Yeah, women.
It's definitely not for me. I want a woman who's like accomplished. She's
But
got
what
her shit
was
together,
in their
but rough around the
profile that
What's
attracted you to them? So what were they misrepresenting?
Boobs. I would say boobs is a good
Right.
like
So were they really misrepresenting themselves, or were you not seeing?
That's what I'm saying. I was just saying I'd set my picture bar low, so then when I walked in, they'd be blown
You're right.
away. That's basically what I was trying to
That
say.
never happened. Not
Right.
one time.
Right.
So I just had to get off of. Plus, it just became such a pain in the ass of the constant communication and this and whatever. And where you have to get to a point where you're actually going to meet them.
Right.
So now I am at the point where I actually signed up for 2 different matchmaking services.
Really?
And they're not cheap.
No, they're not cheap.
No, they're expensive. They are.
Are they showing better results?
Right,
More
good
expensive?
question.
See, I'm looking for a certain type of woman. I'm looking for a woman who is nerdy and dirty, or a woman who's thinky and kinky, or a woman who's geeky and freaky. If I can find one
Your
of those.
profile on online was awesome.
Exactly.
Can you repeat those one more time? For me?
Yes.
One more time. What
Sure.
those?
I'm looking for a woman who's nerdy and dirty, thinky and kinky, or geeky and freaky. So what I'm looking for is, because when I look back at like the women I've had relationships with in the past, they only had one thing in common. Like my last girlfriend was like half Chinese, half Jewish. My girlfriend in college was black. I was married. She was French. There's one thing that every single woman that I've had relationships with, they all have in common. It's that they have worn glasses. So I like women with bad eyesight.
Right. Not nerdy.
Okay, I can already tell what the problem is here.
No, I like
Chris,
really smart women. I like smart women.
Okay, he's an artist.
Right.
He's a comic. And by the way, Seinfeld's admitted to this too, so you're in good company. He's going too much to the joke. No, he's going too much to the joke and the stick. Nerdy and geeky and chicy and freaky and do you know what I mean? Like you're not really.
Well,
I wouldn't say that.
But even like
Yeah.
but I'm saying even that you've thought this out. This is not something authentically.
But
if you really were like you're super focused on your career, which is what you should be doing, and that's why this isn't working. You know, you really have to be ready to. You're right now. This is fun. This is shtick. It's great. But when you're really ready, it'll happen. For me, like what I would absolutely. What you may never be ready because it might just be all about your art, and that's okay too. But it's you. I to me, guy like you. You know what I say? It's like bank executive. Lawyer, insurance.
You have to go polar opposite.
Absolutely, really? Because I'll tell you right now, because you're the artist, you're the fun one, you're the unstable one. That's the one who's.
We all agree on this.
Yes. We're all shaking our heads.
Well, listen, everyone at this table is unstable. We're in this business, you guys. It ends in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm pretty stable.
Okay, good for you, because you know what? I have two.
Well, there is that Seinfeld episode.
I'm not stable.
There is that Seinfeld episode where Jerry dates Janine Garofalo, who's basically playing it. She's just like him. Like they both like cereal and Superman, and he at first loves her, and then he's just disgusted by her because they're so similar.
Maybe that was the problem with my last relationship. I mean, she did stand-up comedy. She does a podcast. And there was a weird jealousy.
Two performers. You can't have that.
There was a weird jealousy when with the trajectory of my career, I'd be like, oh, this comedy show and this, I'm getting invited to do this, and they're flying me out to do this thing. Like every time I did well, I'd be like, that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
No. And when you say that,
I want either the lawyer or the bank executive who's like, oh, sweetie, they sent the paperwork in for your deal. I'm looking it over.
Yeah.
In your rider it says this. That's what you need.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good partnership.
You need someone who doesn't even know what rider means.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, but they'll get to know it.
Right.
Because
exactly.
they'll get to know because they'll be so excited about you're doing something so different that they're not used to. That they're going to be like, oh my God, this is my. But they're not going to
bring something to the table.
By the way, even better, she makes a ton of money and she's super successful because she's like, I don't need money. I've got that. What I love is I have a guy here that's super creative. It's a best-selling author. Like this is someone I'm proud of, and I'm excited.
He's nodding. He's like, yes, I'm
behind my guy. I know, but I see a lot of my friends who are genius level performers, and they get
No, but it is interesting.
I agree with everything you've said.
But this kind of girl I'm saying,
you get that matchmaker on track.
See, I should have given you $5,000. To set me up on
that's actually cheap.
But listen, Chris, I want you to listen to this though, because if this kind of girl that I'm saying out of the gate is not going to be super fun. It's not going to be super exciting out of the gate. It's going to be something different that you're used to.
It's going to be nice.
But that's it. It's just nice. It's like when you don't drink every night and wake up with that awful hangover.
Yes, exactly.
Now you don't wake up with an awful hangover. You go, you know what? It's just nice.
It doesn't blow you away. It's reality, but it's nice.
It's just
But she'll blow you every once in a while, so that's good.
Well, every once in a while.
Yes,
come on.
exactly.
This is why, I feel like physically, I haven't had a regular...
Or get super successful and just get the younger one that just looks up to you. Whatever.
I've done that. So, I've dated 20 years younger. No frickin' way.
Never again.
Get me off that
I want to talk about these fetishes.
Can I tell you what my first date speech is?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something that I need to tell you the context under which this speech would be delivered. Okay. So I got divorced in 2005, and I was with my I don't even like to use the term ex-wife. I think it's a derogatory term.
Former.
She's an amazing woman. I call her my previous.
That's good.
I want to sort of leak that into the culture. She's my previous, mother of my children, beautiful, amazing woman.
Conscious, or what is that new term from Gwyneth Paltrow? Conscious separation or
uncoupling.
Something?
Uncoupling. Oh my God.
Nerdy and dirty.
Nerdy and dirty. So I'm like, I was with a woman for 16 years that I was not compatible with, but somehow we made it work.
Wow.
I was not going to do that again, but I also know you're with someone a really long time. Kevin, you know this. When you're with someone a long time, I feel like that intimacy is so amazing that you have that connection where I feel like it's good when it's easy to have a good time doing things that are fun. Like going to Vegas, that's fun. Going to Disneyland, that's fun. But can you have fun with someone going to Target or folding laundry? That is a person you want to be with, and I wanted to find that kind of person.
Right.
So I said, look, I don't want to be trapped with someone that I'm not compatible with in the bedroom, or we don't have compatible interests. So I would go on dates with girls. Now, this is back when I was first single and just... I'd not dated since my early 20s. I met my wife when I was like 22. So I hadn't dated in a friggin' long time. I'm in my like late 30s, right? So I would meet a girl that would go really well. And at the end of the date, if I liked her and I felt we had a connection, I'd say, look, you need to know that there's two sides to me. On the one hand...
And then you pull out a knife.
No. There's two sides to me. On the one hand, I love to be romantic. I love to cuddle. I love holding hands. I might write you a love letter. I like to be romantic.
I'm like kind of grossed out right now, but also impressed. Having
said that, I also might like to grab you by the back of the hair, shove you against the wall, fuck you in the ass, and come on your face. So
I love it.
So if you are into both of those things, the soft and the sweet, the hard and the fast, we'll be a great couple. And I do say also that like those things are in like balance. Like if you always
do say this on the first date.
Yes.
And what were the reactions like? Because for me, I'm having a weird reaction to it.
Every woman loved it. They thought it was the greatest thing ever. Here's why it was a failure. It was a major epic fail. Is because there were a lot of women I met that were interested in trying those things. Had never been with a guy that was adventurous in the bedroom.
So you're their experiment.
I'm adventurous in the bedroom. I am adventurous in the bedroom. There's a lot of things. I tell a story on my comedy album about how I got fucked in the ass by my own cock with a mold of my cock that you could get from a place called Create-A-Mate. It was an experiment. Like this one girl, a friend of mine, she wanted to do a DP. I don't know if you know what that is.
Director of photography.
Double penetration.
It's double penetration.
Oh God, Art.
And I was like,
what website are you finding that on?
She was awesome. This was like my first relationship, like out of the divorce with this chick. We were just like both like freaks and loved to bone each other. So she was like, she said, look, if you ever wanted to bring a girl in the bedroom, I would be cool with that.
So you just instead made a whole own thing of your own penis.
And I was like, hey, if you would do that for me, if it was really important for you to do that, if you wanted to have another guy with us, I would do that for you because I know that you would do that for me. We never actually did it, but it's like knowing that, I feel like it's called, a relationship really works when you get into what I call a pleasing contest. Mm-hmm. When it's like, I'm going to please you more than you please me. I'm going to please you more than you please. You're so into each other that you want to like almost competitive, but for each other's benefit.
I mean, that's amazing. If you get that.
So as a craft project, because I do have an Etsy, we got a thing called Create-A-Mate, and they make them for both men and women. You can make a mold of your penis. You can also make a mold of your vagina. So we made.
And if you use the coupon code, ask.
Exactly. So we made a mold of my penis.
What?
And she couldn't believe it. She was like, "It was
out of what? Rubber?"
Well, no, it's like the same stuff you make a dildo out of.
Really?
It's the same stuff. It's the same rubber. And they give you like 2 tries because believe me, it's not easy to stay rock hard in cold gelatinous material. It's like someone is rubbing ice cubes on my dick for 10 minutes.
Don't they do this with porn stars too? They'll make molds of their vaginas and
they
stuff.
do it.
This actually sounds cool, like a Sunday afternoon activity.
It was a fun project. We were drinking. We had porn on the TV. She dressed up in lingerie. I was able to maintain for 10. So there you go. So we made this mold. She was like, honey, oh my God, your penis is amazing. This is so great. So it worked its way into our play in the bedroom.
Feel it? Oh God.
And eventually.
Then you felt it. So how was your penis?
I do not want that to happen. It was, she's a trooper.
See,
too.
I wouldn't have to have it happen to know that I wouldn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you had to go
you're
through
not
it
into
to know
anal.
that. No.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, I feel like it's because, this is what I like to say to women that are not into anal. It's like the yoga of sex acts. You need to do it a certain way in order for anal to be pleasurable.
I agree with you.
And you probably need to do it about 10 times before you're actually going to appreciate it. Kevin, back me up.
And yoga's for assholes. So
no, I'm learning. You're right.
No, but I will tell you something. So for anal, there's a lot of prep work that needs to be done.
Exactly. It's an acquired. It's not something like that you want to be doing. Like it's not a thing that you do. Like, hey, let's just do it.
We're drunk. I'm going to shove my penis in your butt.
No, you've got to be. There's got to be communication there. It's like this is the night we're going to get really freaky.
But you also have to ease a woman's anus into it. I have a whole video about this on Ask Men because this
is where the soft part of you comes in.
That's where you get. That's
but you have to stretch her. It is not pleasurable to just shove a penis inside of your tushy.
I know firsthand.
Right.
It is not. So you've got
even though you have a prostate. So
that's true. Actually, it's technically more pleasurable for men than for women.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it is actually technically.
But there's definitely certain types of women that I've met, usually ones I go on more than one date with. I
want to say this though. I'm actually surprised because you're saying you're into women with glasses. And so I'm surprised that women with glasses are like open to these things.
There is a correlation between women that are nerdy or like very intelligent that are into more kinky stuff because they're like, okay, you can look. If you're doing vanilla sex, which I am not, I would not be satisfied with a woman who's only into vanilla sex. In fact, I went on one of my very expensive.
What about
matchmaking
flavored yogurt?
I want to hear about
sex.
this.
And that we're just like, everything lined up. She was freaking hot, and she was exactly what you were describing earlier, Kevin.
Okay.
She was in business. She had like kind of a boring job where she made a lot of money.
Love boring.
Asian, which
of course.
I do like the Asian.
With a good job.
She
amazing
keeps the
job.
trains running on time.
And super intelligent, like, you know, and then it just came. It was like the very end of our conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm really not completely dedicated to only vanilla sex. I didn't give her the full speech that I gave you.
She thought you meant white people. You were
Right,
like, oh,
right.
you're like black
no.
people, like chocolate sex.
Yeah, no, she did not mean that. She not. So whatever. It just, and it was like, oh, dang, like everything aligned except for that one thing, and I can't be with someone where it's not. I want to have options. Not that you're like always doing the stuff that's freaky, because that could be a pain in the ass.
I want to go
Literally.
back. Okay, I do think we need to follow up with that date.
I think so too.
Because you don't know. No,
You don't know what she could grow into being
exactly.
into.
You don't know.
That's
like,
cutting somebody off very quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's just
No, she was she was almost like offended that I brought it up. And I didn't use anything.
Okay,
I literally said I'm not into only vanilla
And
sex.
this was on the first date.
Can I
First
say
date, yeah.
to that kind
I
of
wanna
girl, I'd be freaked out too.
Yeah, it's
That's
not.
just too much.
We should go on a date. Kevin.
Yes.
And then you
No,
should
I
critique
wanna
my
share
technique.
your own.
Okay,
I
when you were saying what your final sentence is, like, I would say that's good later on down the road. On
You have
the
no
first
idea
date,
how many women. But this is. I'm sorry.
sure
I gotta
they're,
go.
but they're not the right women.
The nerdy, chicy, geeky,
Right, and-
freaky. Yes, absolutely.
If we had more chemistry, we made out a couple of times, and then you said it, then I'd be like, okay,
But
now I'm into you. I'm sold. But listen, the thing is that in my mind, if you were to ask me, are you into this? I would quickly say no. But I could potentially be into it depending on who was offered. It depends.
And when you're
grow
asked
into the
that,
idea.
her mind probably went to like, oh my god, this guy's probably an axe murderer. Like for someone like that who's so conservative,
No, she doesn't think that. No, I'm.
He's like, I know. I got feedback from the matchmaker.
But
it would literally be a deal breaker.
But
over
there's people
that?
like me where I'm like, I am prude. I'm like very modest. I'm not comfortable naked. I'm like neurotic. And so like.
But you look amazing. I mean, you're gorgeous.
That's why I said that.
So
hopefully
no,
you would
but
say
like,
it. No,
yeah,
but
like,
that's just who I am. And so we might be able to hit it off on a date, but if you threw that onto me, I am kind of that nerdy girl. I would be totally weirded out by you, even though down the road, if you had made me more comfortable.
But that's what you're saying
I could have
now.
possibly
I'm
been
frustrated because I think like the chances of that one.
So do I.
I do for you, and I also think you have to be open to some. If you really want something else, you got to be open to something.
I mean,
okay, so Chris, you got to be open to something new because everything you're doing the same things over and over again. You're getting the same results. You got to switch it up.
Yeah.
So
I think so,
it's
too.
not ending the date by saying I'm into freaky sex or whatever, or vanilla sex.
I've since retired the speech.
I
Okay,
literally
so
am taking out my glasses.
Or delay it.
And here you go.
Sure, anyone. Okay, I do want to say
Feel beautiful.
Instantly became 50%
one
hotter.
thing
Thank you.
about what Kristen said. The thing is that Kristen just said, I would never be into that. You have no idea, potentially, by who you pair up with.
Well, that's what I was trying to
what
get
you
to.
could potentially grow to be into. Because she could be the freakiest sex you've ever had.
But if you but my point is just is the first saying it on the first date because. Again, there's not that safety. Yeah, there's not that safetiness of it. But again, I could be into it. But just because she's into it doesn't mean she wants to know about it on the first date.
Right.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you from the standpoint of that is a fail. It didn't work because
You're like, I stopped doing it.
It attracted the wrong women, and then not only that, it attracted women that thought that maybe, they'd love to try that. Like, I'll basically be.
But it also put you into the category of we're on this date for sex. Aren't we paying matchmakers to find our mates?
Yeah.
Like that's all you've been thinking about is okay. I want to get freaky.
But I haven't used that speech in over a year. When I started dating again to try.
Well, this is advice for people who are listening who are still in
Yeah, so don't do anything.
That's actually going to be the next State of the Union address.
I also think that you have to decide: are you looking for a fuck buddy, that's just fun to have sex with, and while you're playing around doing your career, or are you really looking for a life partner? Because if you're looking for a life partner,
start looking for a man.
Again, I'm the oldest one at this table, so I always say go to the old guy card. But any psychologist will tell you that a relationship goes from a sexual one to one of companionship. At some point in time, yes, we keep it spicy. I obviously am still very much attracted to my girlfriend. We still are intimate, but it's not the same as it was that first year. It just isn't. So to place that importance, I think for you, for me, if I were managing you, for instance, right, like I manage Maria, I need someone who's going to make you strong, get you focus, get you, complete you. And I don't think completing you with sex, I think there's other people can do that, but then that's what we're talking about. It's Craigslist. It's you know what I mean? It's like you get that girl, you're either screw buddies, or it's people that you meet randomly that are just into that, and we're rolling around, and then boom, you're right back to your business, writing your stand-up, writing your book, doing your podcast. But if it's a real friend and companion...
But these are great lessons that I want to give to the people that are listening as well, because it's about... Okay, once you are in a relationship, you can look at other people who are single and being like, you're making the wrong choices, you're not choosing the right people, you're like going through a profile incorrectly. So for guidance to the guys that are listening, the women that are listening, I think I actually have an exercise guidebook that's a part of one of my programs called How to Become a Man Women Want. And it really gets you to be very clear on what your values are and what you actually want from a partner and another individual in your life, whether it's for sex or for a long-term partnership. Because I think when you're wishy-washy and you have all these floaty ideas about what you want, and underneath you're not truly satisfied, you ultimately become unsatisfied continuously over and over again because you select based on these floaty ideas. But what these guidebooks do is actually get you more focused so that you can select from that place and then also attach the fun, exciting parts that you have in this float. Does that make any sense in the floaty space?
No, it totally does.
But yeah, it's better to choose from the, informed space from what your real needs are, and then add these other wonderful things to those initial needs, values, and wants. Because I think a lot of people are selecting either based on superficial levels or on things that aren't really that important to them. They're surface level things because it's harder to identify the core things that you're really looking for. So I think that is a great place to end because I want to do some analyze this questions with you.
But this is so far the first episode where we have mentioned Disneyland and anal.
Yes,
so thank you for doing that.
So much. Thank you so much. All right. Mm-hmm. So we have this segment that's called Analyze This, where we answer questions from our listeners. Mm-hmm. And they write in questions and we answer them. Hi, Sam from Pennsylvania here. Love the podcast. It's become something of a weekly ritual, and its insights are always beneficial and entertaining. I don't take out the complimentary part, obviously. Over the weekend, I was visiting my cousin for a Halloween party. You can tell how old these questions are because we get so many. In D.C. While there, I met a girl. I was dressed up as Khan from the latest Star Trek movie. Nerdy.
Oh, you got the right guy.
Perfect.
This guy's
you identify
cool.
him.
We would be buds.
You would do anal with him.
Probably not, but
her as Peter Pan.
That's
I know.
She's into cosplay.
That's hot. Cool. She appreciated my costume and I liked hers. We were hanging out for a very big portion of the night and I kept wanting to make a move. Unfortunately, after having a bit too much to drink, I passed out. When I woke up in the morning, she was gone. My cousin didn't know the girl, but she knew friends of my cousin. There's about a 3-hour drive between us. I was wasted when we met, and I'm not sure what could come out of this, but I'd like to try my best to possibly see this girl again. Would it be too weird to ask my cousin to ask around about her and possibly put my name out there or something like that? Thanks for the feedback. If you're able to get to this, and thanks especially for the podcast. And this is from Sam from Pennsylvania. So he liked this girl, or he thinks he does in his mind. I mean, she was dressed as, maybe he has the same thing as you, dressed as Peter Pan.
I think that's absolutely reach out. I mean, that is such an easy, that's a no-brainer because, it's already friends of friends. You were at the party. Yeah. He admits I got too drunk and was probably wise to not try to, that would have been a bad first impression.
Just off costume choice alone, I say go for it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And chicks are into Khan.
Yeah, exactly.
The new Khan. They're super into that too.
Old Khan was pretty cool too.
Yeah. But Benedict Cumberbatch, chick. So to dress like that is cool. It's already friends of friends. Of course, reach out say, hey, to find out, you want to find out, is she single? Find out the basics. And
do your research.
And you know how amazing it would sound to her if they were like, Khan's looking for you.
Right, exactly. And then hit her up on Facebook or whatever and friend her and go from there. That's a no-brainer. It sounds like he did the right thing by not asking that night.
Yeah. Right. Well, it sounds like it wasn't really his choice.
Right. Exactly. But
good answer. So seize every opportunity. I don't even know why it's a question. Hopefully, we haven't answered this since Halloween. You have done something about this and have not been waiting for us to give you that answer. But yes, go.
He's still
for
dressed
it.
as Con.
I know. He's like, what do I do? Why won't they answer my question?
It's April. I want to take this off.
Here's another one from Andre in Jamaica. Look how far reach we are. Do you think it's fair for a guy to view as distasteful because being asked for money by a woman he's known for a few days? Do you think it's fair for a guy
to view it distasteful?
Do it as distasteful. Being asked for money by a woman he's known for a few days. Some will say it's no different from a guy asking a girl for sex directly or indirectly shortly after meeting her. I gave it some thought, and I think that it's not a fair comparison.
You came to the right conclusion.
I'm not looking for a yes or a no answer. I just want to hear what you have to say. Okay. Yes, it's completely distasteful after a few days or dates for a woman to ask for
can you borrow $50? That is just weird.
What? It's weird. I remember when I first started the Wing Girl method, and we were just strictly advertising on Craigslist. So there were very interesting people on there who were becoming my clients at that time. And I would work with a lot of men who were older men who would have these women who would just want them to buy things for them, but not like a diamond ring or a bracelet,
like toilet paper.
They would want them to pay for
which
their
you can buy on
apartment,
Amazon,
and they would pay for their apartment. Like it was all these things. This one guy had been dating this one girl for a year. He had like all this plastic surgery to fix his face and make him better looking, but he had her move in because she had no home to stay in. So she was living with him, sleeping in his bed, but nothing sexual for a full year. And on their 1 year anniversary, and I'm going to put quotes because I don't know anniversary for what, roommates.
Weirdness.
He said, I have one request from you. Can I have a kiss on our anniversary? And she said no.
This is a sad existence.
Very sad story. Yes, no, it was horrible. So yes.
She's like, that's going to cost you another year worth of money.
Yes, exactly.
I always have to ask what happened to.
What happened to him? We set him straight and said this girl is taking advantage of you and get her out of your house right now. And it was very hard for him to do.
And he did it though.
He did eventually do it. But I feel like people like that, it takes a lot of work to not end up in the same cycle because they take what they can get rather than, picking what they want. So yes, it's a very sad story. So sad note to end our show on.
Yeah, so the lesson is don't date in Jamaica when you're there on vacation.
Yes, exactly. Wait, so Art, are you saying we have to wrap up? Or do we have time for one more?
Well, we have time to do the Tinderella bit.
Oh, yes. Week. Okay. So we only had 2 questions, but those were good questions.
Those are good questions.
Okay, so we, because Tinder has become such a, phenomenon in pop culture, we're going to do a little Tinderella segment, which is our Tinderella stories.
You must be geeking out right now. Loving all of it.
Okay, so this week I just wanted to read some really horrible opening lines from Tinder that people have gotten. Some guy just wrote, "Hey, what's your name?" And then she wrote, "Are you serious?" And then he wrote, "I'm sorry, was that too forward?" And then that was it on the conversation. Another one, if you could replace, this might be a Chris Gore question, but he asked her, if you could replace one of your hands with a sword, would you do it? This was his opening line.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another opening
If there was
line.
a zombie apocalypse, the answer is yes.
Yes, of course.
It could be like Merle Dixon.
Or if you're just planning for an apocalypse. Totally,
watch Edward Scissorhands and you get the gist.
Yeah.
Right. This is a strange one. This was the opening line. I need to know before we start all of this that I am terrified of fish. If you have fish, we'll never work.
Oh, my God. I knew a girl who was ichthyophobic.
I actually am.
You're ichthyophobic?
Yeah, what's ichthyophobic?
It's we went to I was some aquarium like in Long Beach. I don't know why we were there, and she walked in and started getting all sweaty.
Yep, I fainted.
What is ichthyophobia?
You're a fish.
Phobia
Ichthyophobic.
Fish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I fainted at the Monterey Bay Aquarium trying to conquer my fear in the tuna tank, and those fucking monsters, man.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Ichthyophobia is a real thing. This friend of mine, I thought she was joking.
I'm getting anxious. Just
You're like, let's go to the aquarium.
I was almost attacked by a sea lion. Just so you know,
really?
I really had. Yes, I really was.
I have a sea lion on my arm.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
What happened with the sea lion?
I was. This was in college. I was interning at an aquarium because I thought I wanted to be a marine biologist. I'm a very confused human being, and so I was sent into the pool to get a water sample to test the water levels, and in the main pool, all the sea lions were not in it. They just had one there, Jody, who was their largest sea lion, just ready for, she was getting shots. So she was in there by herself. I went in just to get the water sample, but when I went in, she was on the stage, and I opened the door, and she pushed herself off the rock at me. And so there's this, like, 600-pound beast, like, coming at me or more. She was their biggest sea lion. God. And I didn't know what to do, and they had always told me, do not use commands on the animals here. Like, that's the number one thing. Do not use commands, like, with your hands, because they'll get threatened. But as she was coming toward me, it happened so fast, I had pulled the door shut, so this big, heavy metal door was closing, and she was trying to get back there. And so I just swiped my hand at the door, but she thought I was like, being aggressive, and she, like, lunged toward me and literally went, like, directly into my face with her fangs and was, like, barking, and I was by myself.
She could have killed you.
Yes, and I basically I screamed, and then she basically stood between me as she kept barking, and so someone came in, and she was essentially, like, attacking me, like, just verbally, but I was just imagining she was going to push me in the water and drown me, and no one was going to know, because it was, like, quiet, you know, no one was really working.
That's really scary.
Anyway, that's my sea lion story. So after that, I was like, you know what, I think I'm good not wanting to be a marine biologist. I think
You're
I'm okay.
icophobic now.
Yeah.
Right. Icophobic?
Ichthyophobic.
Ichthyophobic.
I swear to God, I would be working with California sea lions right now if I wasn't ichthyophobic.
Yeah.
Really? Well, you have one on your arm. Obviously, you like them.
Big fan.
That is, I'm sorry.
They talk to me. They
a really scary situation. Hi.
Art.
Art.
So
I like
on
that.
Tinder, those are like their opening lines.
So these are some bad opening lines. There's a bunch.
I had a headline on one of my online dating profiles a while ago that said, "I hate your dog."
Oh, well, that's good. People with a sense of humor would get that.
Some people exactly. I don't hate dogs.
Right, of course.
But there's so many women that had pictures of their dogs. And the other thing that I noticed that was a consistent thing in online profiles was women that had photos of themselves being active. I'm running a marathon.
That's a
I'm rock
comedian
climbing.
trait. I've said the exact same thing. If you have a picture of yourself skydiving, I never want to speak to you
I don't want to
ever.
date you.
Yeah.
I don't want to date you because I don't want to do that. Better yet,
because you're a douche. You're just douchey.
How about a photo of you eating a banana? I want to know you have skills. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Why you do a bit in your stand-up about that? I do also.
Oh, crazy.
But about like the consistent. There's the one thing I began to notice, a sameness.
Oh yeah.
With the women, they describe themselves as, I'm adventurous. I'm up to try anything once.
I like that. I go on vacation. Those are my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I go on vacation.
When you look at the online dating profiles, literally every woman in the world is exactly the same.
Well, if you do what you did, which was I hate your dog, which I understand as a comedian, I love dogs. I support, I donate money every month to, like humane societies. But I get that because it's like, it says a lot about that girl. So men listening, if you do put something up like that, know that you are going to weed out the wrong ones because someone who actually is the right one would get what you were saying.
Right.
Not be like, oh my God, he hates dogs. What a jerk.
Well, that was like your Seinfeld thing with your boyfriend. Like, you guys just got it because you had that same sense of humor, and that's what sort of keeps you as a good couple.
Right.
Even though you're different people.
Basically, my boyfriend and I started dating because we both like Larry David, but he wrote me that in a Facebook message.
Oh, Larry David.
He just said, you love Larry, I love Larry. Like, it just makes sense. Like, we should get, we should, yeah. And then I literally, like, fell, like, oh, yes, this is my dream guy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
I love it. But, all right, so
anyway,
sadly, the show is over. This was a very good show. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too.
Yes, thank you so much to Kevin, who co-hosted with us today. We would love to have him back. I think he'll be back with us next week.
Yes, definitely. But check out his show with Maria Menounos. It's 10 p.m.
Chasing Maria Menounos on Oxygen, Tuesday nights, 10 p.m.
And it's really good. I've been watching every week, and last night I was looking forward to watching. I binge watched TV last night, and I ended it with yours.
Oh, I'm going to start watching. Okay. Chris, where can people get in touch with you and get the poop book?
Oh, you can just find me on Twitter at that Chris Gore. Or you can find the book at celebritiespoop.com, or it's available on iTunes, Amazon.
And it will soon be available on Audible, right?
That's on audible.com. Yes, that's true.
I love that. I'm so excited. All right, if you have questions, please send them in to ask at askwomenpodcast.com. I promise you will not have to wait as long as Sam from Pennsylvania, who waited since October to find out what to do with this girl. And then you can download new episodes of our podcast every Thursday, but it's better to actually subscribe so that you don't have to download them. You can subscribe on iTunes. It goes into your feed automatically, and then you can listen to us wherever you are.
Check out AfterBuzzTV.com, which is an amazing place to find tons of podcasts on your favorite TV shows.
Yeah. And actually, check out what's your YouTube thing again?
No.
Oh, don't check it out. Obviously, it's not very good. But we will see you guys next